Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are preparing to write JAMB 2025 examination, this video will serve as a guide and of help to you because most of the questions that JAMB has been repeating from their previous years are the things I'm going to discuss in this video. So join me and stick to this channel as I guide you through these questions. Peradventure you see it in your exams, of which you know that JAMB repeat questions, and even if they do not repeat questions, they can even change the values, but it's still the same concept. So if you're able to understand it, it will give you an edge when you see it in your exam. So let's dive into it. Question 1 says, which of the following is a fundamental unit? Option A, Newton. Option B, Watt. Option C, joules. Option D, seconds. Now, one thing that will come to your mind is this: fundamental units that are independent. Looking at the options we have, the only unit that is independent is what? Second. So the correct option to this question is option D. Number 2, at distance s meters traveled by a particle in time t seconds is described by the equation x equals 10 plus 12t square. Find the average speed of the particle between the time interval t equals 2 seconds and t equals 5 seconds. Now, this question is under instantaneous speed and instantaneous velocity, okay? So what we are going to do is to bring out the distance given to us, which is x is equals to 10 plus 12t square, right? Now what you are going to do next is for us to get the average speed. That is what we are asked to find, the average speed, okay? So we are going to do what? Differentiate this x with respect to time, because speed is defined as the distance over time, and this x is already distance. By the time we differentiate it with respect to time, we are going to get our what? Speed, okay? Now let's go. We say change in, I will say change in x over change in time is equals to, because I'm differentiating it with respect to x, this 10 here does not have what? T. So it's going to be equals what? To 0. Okay? Now coming to this one has T. Know that this is differentiation. So I'm going to bring down these two and multiply by 12. Okay? Now I'm going to say that 12 times what? 2, right? Then I will now say T 2 minus what? 1. So I'm going to have what? 12 times 2 is going to give me 24. Then this is what? T. So that is 2 minus 1 is what? T. Okay? Now we are asked to find the average speed. For us to get the average speed, they gave us different time. So I'm going to get the first speed and equally get the second one. Is that okay? Now let us get the first speed. I will say x1. x1 is equals to what? I will say what? 24 times. The first time given in this question is when it is 2 seconds. So times 2, right? It's going to give me what? 48 meters per what? Second. Do we understand? Okay, so my x2 is equals to what? 24 multiplied by what? 5. What do I have? Is 120 meters per what? Second. Okay, now for me to get the average speed, I'm going to add them together and divide by what? 2. That becomes the average. So speed average or average speed is equals to 48 plus 120 divided by what? 2, right? So this is what I'm just going to do. When I add, I'm going to have 168 divided by what? 2, of which is going to give me 84 meters per second, right? Now this is how to get the average speed in a question. And from what we've got, the correct option is what? Option C. An arrow of mass 0.1 kilograms moving with a horizontal velocity of 15 meters per second is shot into a wooden block of mass 0.4 kilograms lying at rest on a smooth horizontal surface. Their common velocity after impact is what? Option A, 15.0 meters per second. Option B, 7.5 meters per second. Option C, 3.8 meters per second. Option D, 3.0 meters per second. This question is talking about what? An arrow of mass 0.1 kilogram with a horizontal velocity, okay? So the first step is to state our parameters, which is the mass of the first body, which is the arrow, is 0.1 kilogram. Okay, then the velocity of the first body, that is u1, is equals to 15 meters per second. Okay, then it is being shot into a wooden block of mass 0.4. So the mass of the second body is 0.4 what? Kilogram. But the body was at rest, and anybody that is at rest, its velocity becomes what? 0. So my u2 is equals what? 0. So what are we looking for? We are looking for the common velocity. Is that clear? Now what you are going to do from the law of conservation of linear momentum, which is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to m1 plus m2 bracket what? V. Now since you are looking for the common velocity, you are going to substitute into what we have. What's my m1? I have 0.1 multiplied by my u1 is what? 15. Okay, then plus what's my m2? 0.4. 0.4 times my u2 is what? 0. Is that clear? Now this is equals to bracket. What's my m1? I have 0.1 plus 0.4, right? Now I have bracket what? V. This V is the common velocity that I'm actually looking for. Let me multiply out and see what I have. 0.1 multiplied by 15 is going to give me 1.5. Okay, plus this is going to give me 0, right? I have 0 is equals to, then when I multiply, I'm going to have 0.5 what? V, right? So simply I have 0.1 is equals to 0.5 V. I divide both sides by what? 0.5. 0.5. This cancels this, okay? Therefore, my velocity, which is common velocity, 3 meters per second. Okay, now looking at the options provided, the correct answer to this question is option D. Two bodies x and y are projected on the same horizontal plane with the same initial speed but at angles 30 degrees and 60 degrees respectively to the horizontal. Neglecting air resistance, the ratio of the range of x to that of y is what? We have the following options. Option A, 1:1. Option B, 1:2. Option C, √3:1. And option D, 1:√3. Now look at it. Before we can solve this, we are talking about the range. Okay, so they said that we should find the ratio of the range of Rx to what? Ry. And what is range? Range is equals to u square sine 2 theta all over what? G. Okay, now since you are dealing with the first, that is, since you are dealing with this one, this becomes what? For the first one. Okay, now this is equals what? U square sine 2 theta over what? G, right? But they said that they have the same initial speed. That means u square is equals what? U square, right? Then neglecting air resistance, I equally cancel what? G. So I am left with what? Sine 2 theta over sine 2 theta, right? So looking at what we have, the first body, which is x, has an angle of 30 degrees. So I'm going to say that this is sine 2 times 30, right? Okay, then I will now say divided by the second body has an angle of 60 degrees. This is what? Sine 2 times 60. Do we understand? Rx over Ry is equals to sine 60 over sine 120, right? Okay, so let's go. Then the sine of these angles is going to give me √3/2, okay, then divided by √3/2, which is the same thing. Then it's going to cancel out. Okay, now we're going to have that Rx over Ry is equals to what? 1. So the ratio of Rx to the R1 is 1 to what? 1. Is that clear? So the correct option to this question is option A. In the diagram below, which of the simple pendulum will resonate with P when set into oscillation? Option A, T. Option B, U. Option C, R and T. Option D, Q and R. Now we have this diagram on the board now. It said which of this pendulum is going to resonate with what? P, when it is set into oscillation. So the simple answer to this question is that the one that is of the same height with it is going to resonate at the same time with it when set into oscillation. So look at it, you can see that it's only what? It's only T that has the same or at the same level or at the same height or the same length with pendular P. Do you understand? So the correct option to this question is option A. Question 6. The resultant of two forces acting on an object is maximum if the angle between them is what? Option A, 45 degrees. Option B, 0 degrees. Option C, 90 degrees. Option D, 180 degrees. At 0 degree, that is where you have the maximum force if two vectors are resolved together. Is that clear? So the correct option to this question is option B. Number 7. Ice cubes are added to a glass of water. The glass and water are cooled by option A, conduction only. Option B, convection only. Option C, conduction and convection. Option D, convection and what? Radiation. Now, when ice cube are added to a glass of water, the glass and water are cooled by what? Conduction and convection. Do you understand? So the correct option to this question is option C. A particle in a circular motion performs 30 oscillations in 6 seconds. Its angular velocity is what? Option A, 5 radians per second. Option B, 6 radians per second. Option C, 5 pi radians per second. Option D, 10 pi radians per second. This question, they give us the number of complete oscillation, that is what? N. Okay, that is N is equals to 30 what? Oscillation. And the time is given as what? 6 what? Seconds. And we are looking for angular velocity, which is omega. What is the formula for omega? Theta over what? Time. Okay. Now, but for one complete oscillation, one complete oscillation is equals what? 2 pi. But in this question, the particle makes 30 oscillations. So I'm going to say this is what? 2 pi multiplied by what? 30. Okay. So the angle is now equals to 60 what? Pi. Do we understand? Okay. Now, but the time given is what? 6 seconds. You're just going to substitute by saying this is 60 pi divided by what? 6. Okay. Simply this will cancel this to give us what? 1. So my angular speed becomes 10 pi radian per second. Do we understand? It's as simple as that. So the correct option to this question is option D. Number 9. The diagram below is a block and tackle pulley system in which an effort of 80 Newton is used to lift a load of 240 Newton. The efficiency of the machine is what? Now we're going to use this diagram to find the efficiency, okay? Option A is 60%, option B 50%, option C 40%, option D 33%. Looking at this question, we have to state the parameters we have. From the question, we have effort to be 80 what? Newton, okay? Then we have the load to be 240 Newton. Now, these two things is going to help us to get the mechanical advantage of a machine. Now, we are going to know the number of pulleys here because for the velocity ratio of a pulley system, the number of pulleys is equal to the velocity ratio. So let's count it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so velocity ratio is equals what? 6. Is equals to 6. So let's get our mechanical advantage, which is load over what? Effort. And my load is 240 divided by what? Effort, which is what? 80, right? So if I divide this, okay, then this divide this I have 1, this divide I have what? 3. So it means that my mechanical advantage is equals what? 3. So let's solve for the efficiency. Efficiency is equals to MA over VR, then multiplied by 100 what? Percent. So let's just substitute into what I have. What's my MA? I have what? 3. So this is 3 over what? My VR is 6, right? Then times 100 what? 50%, of which when you cancel, it's going to give me 1/2, which is the same thing as what? 0.5. So I will say 0.5 multiplied by 100%. Okay, so it's going to give me the efficiency to be 50%. I hope that is clear. Now, from what we've got so far, the correct option to this question is option B. Question 10. The driving mirror of a car has a radius of curvature 1 meters. A vehicle behind the car is 4 meters from the mirror. Find the image distance behind the mirror. You have the following options. Option A, 8/7. Option B, 4/9. Option C, 9/2. Option D, 4/7. Driving mirror are usually convex mirror, and for convex mirror their focal length is usually what? Negative. So we are given the radius of curvature, that is r, to be 1 what? Meters, right? Then for my focal length, it's going to be, you know that focal length is radius of curvature over what? 2. Okay, now that will be what? 1/2. But because it's going to be negative, I have minus 1/2, right, as my focal length. Now a vehicle behind the car is 4 meters. That is the object distance. So u is equals to 4 what? Meters. What you're looking for is the image distance behind the mirror. So you're looking for what? V. Is that clear? So you're going to use the formula 1/f is equals to 1/u plus what? 1/v, right? So let's work it out. I have what? 1 over, my focal length is minus 1/2, then is equals to 1/4 plus 1/v, because I'm looking for the image distance. So 1/1/2 becomes what? Minus 2/1, right? Is equals to, if you can get the LCM, is going to be what? 4v, right? Okay, so 4 into this is going to give me what? V. V times 1 is what? V plus, this is going to give me 4 times 1, I have what? 4. Is that clear? Since you say cross multiply, minus 2 times 4v is equals what? V plus what? 4, right? By the time I multiply, what do I have? I will have minus 8v is equals to v plus what? 4. Now let me take this v to the other side. That is minus 8v minus v is equals what? 4, right? That will give me what? Minus 9v is equals what? 4. Is that clear? So if I make this the subject, I divide both sides by what? Minus what? 9. So this cancels this. So you have that v is equals to minus 4 over what? 9. Alright? So the answer to this question is option B. Now you know why you have a negative sign, because the image is what? Is negative. Alright. Question 11. To produce an enlarged and erect image with a concave mirror, the object must be positioned, option A, at the principal focus, option B, beyond the center of curvature, option C, between the principal focus and the center of curvature, option D, between the principal focus and pole. Now, for us to produce an enlarged and erect image, that means the image must be virtual. And for you to produce a virtual image, the image must be placed between what? The principal focus and the pole. So the answer is option D. Question 12. The property that is propagated in a traveling wave is what? Option A, frequency. Option B, amplitude. Option C, energy. Option D, wavelength. Now, you know that a wave is a disturbance which travels through a medium, transferring what? Energy. So it is energy that this particle transfer from one medium to what? Another. So the option is option C. Which of the following is a characteristic of a stationary wave? Option A, they are formed by two identical waves traveling in one direction. Option B, they can be transverse or longitudinal. Option C, the distance between two successive nodes is one wavelength. Option D, the antinode is a point of minimum displacement. We're going to use elimination method, okay? Now looking at this now, the antinode is a point of minimum displacement. This is very, very what? Wrong. It is a point of maximum what? Displacement, okay? Then the distance between two successive nodes is one wavelength. This is wrong too, because the distance between two successive nodes is lambda over what? 2. Then They may be transverse or longitudinal. No, they cannot be transverse or what? Longitudinal. Stationary wave are mainly transverse wave. They are formed by two identical waves traveling in one wavelength. Yes, this is what? The correct option, which is option A. A coin is placed below a rectangular glass block of thickness 9 meters and refractive index 1.5 is viewed directly vertically above the block. The apparent displacement of the coin is what? We have the following options. Option A, 3 centimeters. Option B, 5 centimeters. Option C, 6 centimeters. And option D, 8 centimeters. Now, looking at this question, this is talking about real depth and apparent depth. So, anytime you are viewing an object directly from above, what you are seeing is the apparent depth. But from the question, we are given the real depth. That is, real depth R is equals to 9 centimeters. Okay, then the refractive index N is equals to 1.5, right? We don't even have the apparent depth, and the apparent depth is what we are going to use to get our apparent displacement. So using the formula, that N is equals to real depth over what? Apparent. That is, this is 1.5 is equals to 9 over what? A. If you do cross multiply, A is equals to 9 divided by 1.5, of which when you divide is going to give us 6 centimeters, right? Then the apparent or lateral displacement is what? Real depth minus apparent depth. That is, real depth is 9 minus what? 6. That gives rise to 3 centimeters. Okay, so now this is the correct option. This is how to solve it. So the correct answer to this question is question 15. The diagram shows the force acting on an object through a distance x. The work done on this object is expressed as what? Look at the diagram on the board. So we're going to use it to get the work done. The following options, we have Fx joules, Fx over 2 joules, Fx squared joules, and F over x joules. Now, for us to know the work done, W is equals to force times what? Distance. Okay, so the force is F and the distance is what? X. So the correct option to this question is option A. Question 16. Which of the following eye defect can be corrected using a cylindrical lens? Option A, myopia. Option B, astigmatism. Option C, presbyopia. Option D, chromatic aberration. The correct option to this question is B, which is astigmatism. Question 17. Water is a poor thermometric liquid because option A is opaque. Option B is a poor conductor. Option C, it wets glass. Option D has a low vapor pressure. The correct option is option C, because water wets glass. Question 18. The colors seen in soap bubbles are due to what? A, diffraction. B, refraction. C, dispersion. D, interference. The correct option to this question is C, which is what? Dispersion, because dispersion is the separation of white light into its component colors. So the answer is C. Question 19. The eye controls the amount of light reaching the retina by adjusting the option A, cornea. Option B, iris. Option C, retina. Option D, optic nerve. The correct option to this question is option B, which is iris. Question 20. An electric iron rated 1000 watts, 230 volt. What is the resistance of its element? Option A, 51.9 ohms. Option B, 52.9 ohms. Option C, 55.9 ohms. Option D, 57.6 ohms. Now, this question is talking about electric power. Okay, so you know that power is given as 1000 watts, right? Then we have PD to be 230 volts, and we are looking for what? The resistance. So the formula we are going to use to solve this is power is equals V square over what? R. Okay, simply by putting what we have. If I want to get this resistance, I will just say that resistance is equals to V square over power. Is that clear? So let's put in what we have. So what's my resistance? My resistance R is equals to, my V is what? 230. So this is 230 multiplied by 230. That is 230 square, okay? Then I'll divide it by 1000, which is the power. I divide by 1000, okay? So my resistance is equals to, this cancels this. So I have 529. By the time I divide it by what? 10, my resistance will now be equals to 52.9 ohms. Do we understand? So the correct option to this question is option B. Question 21. From the diagram above, determine the value of the resistance X. We have option A, 6 ohms, option B, 9 ohms, option C, 12 ohms, option D, 15 ohms. Now we are going to use Ohm's law, that is V is equals to IR, to solve this problem, okay? Now we are giving the PD to be 12 and the current as 2. Once we get the resistance, it can help us to get the unknown resistance, okay? Now this is what? 12 is equals to 2R, right? Now if I divide both sides by what? By 2, my R, therefore R is equals to 6 what? Ohms. Now this 6 ohms will now be equals to these resistors. Now coming to these resistors, these 3 and X, they are in parallel, while 2 and 1.5, they are in what? They are in series. So let's go. I'm going to say that what? R is equals to, now if I want to solve it in a nutshell, the formula for solving for these two that are in what? That are in parallel is just simply by saying R1 times R2 all over R1 plus R2. That is quite simple. So that is what we are going to use. So R is equals what? Over R2, R1 times R2 all over R1, plus R2, okay? Now whatever thing we have, we're going to add it to what? These two that are already in series. My total resistance is given as 6. So 6 is equals to my R1, the ones in the parallel connection, that is 3 times what? X all over 3 plus what? X, right? Then whatever thing I have, I'm going to add it to what? 2 plus 1.5 is going to give me 3.5. Is that clear? So this is 6 is equals to, when I add this, I have 3x all over 3 plus x plus 3.5, right? Now let us get the LCM simply by saying 6 is equals to 3 plus x. When you divide, you're going to get 1 multiplied by this, that is 3x plus, what do we have now? I have this into, it's going to give me 3 plus x, so that is multiplied by this 3.5 bracket 3 plus x, okay? Now this is what? 6 over 1 is equals to, let's open the bracket, 3x plus multiply, I'm going to have 10.5 plus 3.5x, okay? Then all divided by what? 3 plus x. Is that clear? So 6 over 1 is equals to, you can get the like terms, I have what? 6.5 plus 10.5, right? Then divided by what? 3 plus what? X. If I say cross multiply, it's going to give me 6 bracket 3 plus x, or let me just multiply all through. Cross multiply 6 into this is going to give me 18 plus 6x, right? Is equals to 6.5x, plus 10.5. Collection of like terms. If we want to collect like terms, what do we have? This cross over to this side. Why this cross over to this side, okay? Now this is equals what? 6.5x minus 6x is equals what? 18 minus 10.5. So this is 0.5x is equals to what? Is equals to 7.5, right? Then x is equals to 7.5 over 0.5, which will give rise to 15 ohms, right? All these things I have to solve before you to understand how to solve this type of problem, okay? So the correct option is option D. The electric field between 2-point charges is shown in the diagram. What types of charges are at x and y? Now look at it now. We have body what? X, and we have body what? Y. How do you know the kind of charge that we have? the direction of the charge is moving outside, that means it is a negative charge. So this is going out and this is going out. So both of them are said to be what? Negative, right? Now that means that the answer to this question is option what? Because both of them are negative. Question 23. The phenomenon that makes sound persist when its source has been removed is known as A. Acoustic vibration, B. Refraction, C. Echo, D. Reverberation. Now reverberation is the perseverance of the sound after the source ceases. That means the particular phenomenon that makes sound to persist after the source has been removed is said to be what? Reverberation. That is option D. Question 24. In the diagram below, the pressure of the gas is what? Option A, 96 centimeter of mercury. Option B, 86 centimeter of mercury. Option C, 66 centimeter of mercury. And option D, 76 centimeter of mercury. Now, anytime you have a diagram like this, you can see that the height here is greater than the height here. So I can label this what? X and what? Y, right? You can see the difference between this, which is the height. So most times, when this tube is facing up and atmospheric pressure is acting on it, it is making the level on this side to be greater than this side. And it means that the total pressure will be what? Atmospheric pressure plus what? The height. Do you understand? So the total pressure PA is equals to atmospheric pressure plus what? H. Okay, but if on this side that the pressure here or the height here is higher than the height from this other side, you are going to subtract. Do you understand? So the total pressure from this question is the atmospheric pressure is 76 plus the height, which is 10. So I'm going to have what? 10. So simply when I add it, it's going to give me 86 centimeter mercury. Do you understand? So this is how to solve problem involving pressure. Alright, so the correct option to this question is option B.